Hey YouTube, it's your boy Worm. Today's guest on the podcast, Kmadd. You know him, you love him. We talk about OBS because he's an OBS god. We talk Halo, we talk Halo Infinite, and much, much more. You're gonna love it, guys. Roll the tape. Roll the tape. All right, guys. We're gonna start this just a little bit early. We got the amazing man, another freaking OBS god in the house today, okay? Amazing guy. I freaking adore this man. I've been following this man for a long time and all that stuff. He helps a lot of people out. He probably more than what he even knows himself. Man used to play, comp Halo. Now he's a full-time freaking content creator. And I won't lie, even when I watch his streams, sometimes I gotta leave to readjust my eyes and come back because it's just spectacular, all right? Other than that, hey, thank you, Kmadd. Thank you. Greatly appreciated. How are you doing today, man?
Oh, my pleasure, Worm. I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing actually really good, man.
Now, when you said you leave to adjust your eyes, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I hope I'm not giving you a headache or anything.
Well, no, it's not really that a headache. It's I get my eyes actually like easily get like eye migraines, I guess you could say. Like,
oh no.
And all that stuff. So like sometimes like when you go on your little tyrants of all the scene changes and all the different colors and all that stuff and all, like when you're doing it for a minute, 2 minutes and all that stuff, it's like either I close my eyes or I just leave the stream for a second and then come back to it. You know what I'm saying?
I respect it.
And it's it's like the minor little things. Sometimes it's no problem, obviously, but it's like when you get like your peeps freaking going and all that stuff, and you get some sick plays going and all that stuff, and you do all your switches and everything. I'm just like sitting here like, okay, all right, I'm good, you know. But I love it. Like
thank you, man.
Your style is very unique. It's like I've talked about you, Nade God, freaking Pixel Pete, and a few others and all that stuff and all. Y'all are like in my eyes like the top 3 like OBS gods. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all freaking know how to work it. You on top of that, like you didn't even have a stream deck until what, like 6-8 months ago or something like that. And you did everything. You did everything through your keyboard.
I still kind of do. I got my stream deck on
Christmas, right?
My anniversary.
Oh, okay, no,
on my anniversary, Ash got it for me. I didn't set it up until like a month after, and that was just with. I had like sounds on there, like at first. There was no multi-action buttons. There was no. I don't even think I had any scene switches. But it got to the point where I was running out of room on my keyboard, so I was kind of like just kind of desperate to start making room for everything.
Right.
But, yeah.
Because go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, but I mean, you said a master of OBS. There's still so much that I'm like looking to learn, and it's really just a big like learning experience with everything. But yeah, no, everybody like that I get inspired from, they make me want to do more stuff, and it's kind of like a learning thing, really. Where I'm not even in school, but I just learned so much with the program and with streaming and everything. So it's really cool.
It's always a constant learning. That's the one, like anything electronics or anything. It's always constant learning. Like I come somewhat from the mechanic field and all that stuff. And the mechanic field, freaking like that's always something to learn. Always, especially with the way some of these engineers come out with these cars. And I got to get my hand. It's not a huge hand, but it's a hand in this little small 2-inch hole to be able to screw a nut in. It's kind of the same thing with the electronics when like there's all these little nooks and crannies of different setups that you can have. And if you don't look into it, if you don't try, you'll never really know everything. And then with them always constantly updating like OBS and all that stuff, and it's like I came from Streamlabs. Streamlabs was constantly updating all their stuff and
Hmm.
all, and like it was always something like new every couple of months. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I totally understand. I'm personally, I try to take people away from
Yeah.
Streamlabs OBS because of the amount of potential that OBS Studio offers. But no, I mean they both have their benefits. But yeah, no, like you said, just kind of staying on top of it and just admiring the learning curve, not feeling intimidated by it really, because there's just so much over the past like 2-3 years really, and especially you throw into correlation with how much streaming is evolving.
Mm-hmm.
It can be so important to learn even just simple advanced techniques and stuff just to help you stand out just a little bit more, because at the end of the day, you know, like I said, streaming is just evolving to the point where uniqueness and being your own, your own
Right.
content creator really
Right.
is
Your
just
own thing and all that stuff.
it's gonna put you out there.
Yep.
And I kind of learned that from pretty much the very beginning. Because I've been doing this, I've put about like about 4+ years into the stream, but before I even before I started casting, I watched Tim the Tap Man. And
Yes.
this would have
Yes.
been in like
Love the man.
Oh yeah, no, he's still one of my favorite streamers to this day, and one of the main reasons why I wanted to become a streamer, because everything that he was doing at the time was like just seemed so fun, and it wasn't even like that much. There was nothing advanced. It was so much just the purpose of playing video games and interacting with people, and being funny, and just having a good time. But he did camera zooms, and this would have been in like 2014
Mm-hmm.
when he was still playing like Counter-Strike. And every single time someone subbed, he would just do like a quick camera zoom, look into the camera, and do like a little body roll.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was the funniest thing I'd ever seen on stream before. Because I mean, I was watching like Halo people at the time, and like nobody did that. It was just cameras and gameplay. And he did that, and like he just like zoomed it. I'm like, whoa, how do you do that? Like, and that was back on the OBS Classic. And that was like one of the first things I wanted to figure out when I started streaming, was how to do just a camera zoom, and like how to hotkey a camera zoom like to your stream, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I still haven't even figured that stuff out and all, because it's like I was on like I said, I was on Streamlabs, and Pete finally convinced me after like a year and a half, probably almost 2 years, really, to switch over to OBS, and because there's like the what Lorne board and all this other stuff that you can use and all that's a lot more interactive, and you can still use a lot of like Streamlabs bots and stuff like that and all that
Yeah.
stuff on OBS, and it runs, from what I can tell, not much smoother, but smoother than what Streamlabs was before, as far as like processing power that was required and all that stuff and all. It's like I've got so much potential and room to grow and all that stuff and all, but like watching people like you and all these other people like just the way you guys do that things and all, and like sometimes I'm at work and I work for the railroad. Sometimes I'm at work and I'm like looking at YouTubes on how some of the stuff that like you do, the scene switches and all that stuff, like how you guys like put that stuff in and make it so seamless and all that stuff. Now with that
Yeah.
stream, that how much of a reach is that for you compared for the keyboard?
Well, I keep my keyboard like genuinely like really close to me, and now I got this brand new microphone, so like I got
Finally,
sure,
you
like,
got a
it's
mic.
not in the yeah, the story of the mic. So for anybody, I've been using a boom mic on my headset for about pretty much since the beginning of streaming, and just a couple months ago I finally got Elgato. Not sponsored or anything, just a recommendation from Nate God, shout out Josiah. he's a audio tech god, so
Yeah.
he uses this, so he knows all about it. But no, my Stream Deck, I keep it relatively close. The thing about my Stream Deck is there's nothing really on it for quick switches. It's mostly just multi-purpose, multi-action kind of thing. I do use it in unison with stuff on my keyboard, but the reason why I wasn't using Stream Deck for quick switches, and they've actually gotten better about this, at least when I've been streaming lately and I've been doing like some quick button switches, they've gotten much better. But the response time when it first came out
Feels a little delayed.
Was very slow.
Yeah.
So I can go between two buttons, or I can, like, say I did like a zoom, like a little blur effect, and then I want to switch between like two cameras on my keyboard. I go it'll switch every single time that button is pressed. Whereas there's kind of like an overload on the Stream Deck, and it's trying to like keep up. It's trying to keep up, so it's like delayed. You know, some of the buttons finally come through, and so for quick stuff, I really just
use the keyboard.
Kind of, yeah. I kept with the keyboard, and because it's what I'm used to. But there are certain scenes on here. There's certain like multi-action effects, folders, and of course all my audio files and everything. I keep on here. It's a little disorganized. I am in the process of like organizing everything on the deck. But then you throw in W0rm board, which most of my W0rm board stuff is controlled by Stream anyway.
Yeah, channel points. Like I'd like having channel points on Twitch now. And all that stuff. I mean, I've only got one W0rm board thing set up for that, and that's my cheers command or whatever, and it just automatically brings the cups together that Pete actually made for me. But at the same time, like I've noticed so many other streamers, like they just do freaking channel points and bam, and automatic like BRB funny command or other little things and stuff like that people use by that, and like it doesn't interrupt your gameplay by having that ability through using W0rm board.
Right, and that's another piece of software that I took a while to start using. I had it installed since last year when I heard about it. There's a lot of great tutorials out there for it, and people like colleagues, if you will. Joe had already been using it. Pete had already been using it. Other streamers had already been. Some of my other inspirations like Sushi Dragon and other tech guys out there that really like push forward production value. They had already been using it. I'm like, dude, I need to jump on this. So I just kind of sat down, and that's another thing is just like getting used to using a new piece of software. For me, it takes like that leap to just like, all right, sit down and try and learn it, not be intimidated by it, and just kind of learn about the things that you can do, trial and error. And so when I finally got it going, I realized, dude, this is an insane piece of software, man, because you can do so much without pushing that many buttons.
Right.
Because it works the same way as a Stream Deck. But you can like hotkey like one button to do like 15 things if you wanted. And I kicked myself because I wasn't using it like right away. And there was Touch Portal, and other like software boards and stuff. But no, it's so open source is the word like I'm looking for, and it expands. It just gives you so much potential to do so many creative thoughts that you have that you can really put into reality with the tech.
Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely amazing on how all stuff. Like I'm lazy. All right, I'm so very lazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm so very lazy.
All too much.
So like I've had like W0rm board. I've had OBS. And all that stuff, for a while now, and I still haven't like bothered even really looking into it a whole lot and all that stuff, and a lot of it has to do with me being lazy. It's just like
that's pretty much what
I'm kind of set good on what I have set up now, but at the same time, like sometimes I'll be at work and I'm like, man, if I could figure out how to do this and do that, that'd be beneficial to the stream. It'd get more interaction with the viewer base and all that stuff and all. But then it's like when I get home and I'm just like, all right, it's time to do it. I'm just like, no, where's a bowl of ice cream?
Take the initiative. But you bring up a good point. It keeps you thinking about things you want to add to your stream.
Yes, yes.
And when we get into this kind of style, we are always thinking about new ideas. It's like part of my being now. When I like go to bed, I'm literally just sitting there just like, all right, that can work. Like there's no real room for me to like not think about it. And then I got to make sure I write it down. You know, I've gotten so much better about writing stuff down because I think I'm going to remember things. I think I'm going to remember these things. And then
you don't.
And then I don't. I'm like, dude, what was that one idea that I had? And it's just gone. But you're constantly thinking of ways to improve. Once you get your foot in the door, you do your first effect, you do your first multi-action, you do your first thing that just sticks. And it's tough as a streamer to find your niche and find what sticks and what
also works for you, because like you can find a bunch of little things that could necessarily work on stream, but is it really your thing that you want to do though? Is that what you want to be known for? Is that what you want to be putting out there as your content and all that stuff and all? Because there's so many things that you can do, but is it really going to work for your style? You know,
people will see, and I get this a lot. People will see something cool happen on a channel, and their first thing is like, how did you do that? They'll want to do it. They'll want to try it. And yeah, it might be cool at first, but you know, maybe it deters from why they were a streamer in the first place, like because they're just a hardcore gamer. Or you know, maybe you're like an artist or something and you want to focus on your painting, or I am all for pushing people to have fun stuff on their stream. And there's so many resources out there to help you do that.
Lurk, educate to lurk.
But yeah,
going
like
to cook
people
up
will
some
see it and
dinner
they'll
with Mrs.
want to try it, and then they realize,
Educator gamer,
you know,
but
maybe it
he'll
wasn't
leave
their
the
thing.
tab
Like
open for
it
you.
is something that I want to
Have
do,
a
and it's
good
something that
stream,
I
laughing
know
face.
I want
Seems
to do.
good. 5 Monday
I
vibes,
love
educate
gaming,
to
and
vibes.
I'm still going to be gaming. Gaming is still going to be at the forefront of my content. But the moment I kept, you know, making new scenes, the moment I kept making new effects, I realized, like, I want to turn this into a show. I want these effects to be intertwined with my Halo, with my Apex, with, you know, whatever it may be, because it's what I want to do. It gives me a purpose, and that's fine. You know, that's another thing, is finding, you know, that sense of streaming purpose. You know, are you enjoying the kind of content that you're putting out? Is it making you want to expand off of it? Like, all of this makes me want to expand off of what I already have and make it better.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you going on. All right. So, let me see. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. All right. So for some people that's in the channel that may not know at this point in time, do you come from a comp background and stuff like that? What kind of matches and all that stuff were you involved in?
So I've been competing in Halo for I started a little over like 15 years ago. I found out about competitive Halo through Halo 1 and G4's promotion of it. There's a show called Arenas way back in the day on G4 TV, and a lot of OG gamers will know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, that was my bread and butter for television entertainment as a kid. And it was all video games all the time. Not that, you know, Spike TV wannabe cops and, you know, Ninja Warrior was cool and all, but they had video game related shows. And there was a show called Arena, and they showed the 2002 Halo National Championship. You guys can check this out on YouTube now, but it was this was before YouTube. And there were people there that are like the OGs of competitive Halo. your Strange Purples, Darkman, a lot of people that really grew up to be the first like Halo 1 like MLG pros. And I unfortunately could never compete in Halo 1. I mean, I was really young. I'm 28 now. And
youngin, you big old youngin.
Yeah, big old youngin. And at the time, you can't go anywhere. You can't go to tournaments or anything like that. Fortunately, I had teammates that were a lot cooler than my parents were. And by the end of Halo 2, by the end of Halo 1, beginning of Halo 2, the first series of tournaments were going to be on the East Coast. And one of them was going to be in DC. It actually wasn't in DC. Now that I remember it was like in Arlington.
Yeah.
It was like in Arlington.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
And it was at a Sheraton hotel. This was MLG DC 2005, the first season of Halo 2. And I still remember it was just like a dimly lit hotel, and just elevated stages, not nearly as sick of a production as we're used to seeing nowadays, but it worked, and it got people excited to be there to play. I still remember just feeling just so much euphoria after a couple of years of just playing nothing but split screen with my homies. If there was a LAN, we had a community center in Vienna, and we would try and get the community center for a day, a couple days to like run, some LANs, run some tournaments, bring some TVs in and stuff. And they were doing that for Smash. They were doing that for Halo. They were doing it for remember there was some racing games and stuff that they wanted to do, fighting games.
I'm sure Street Fighter was in there or something like that. I'm sure.
Yeah, and like Soul Calibur and stuff like that. And I still remember I had so much
Actually, it probably would have been Tekken,
and
actually. But
Tekken as well. Yeah. So much involvement and interest in wanting to organize these, and I'm 10, 11 years old, and I want to be a part of this. I really want to go. And then, yeah, I had some cool homies with cool parents. DC wasn't far. Well, Arlington wasn't far, and we go, and that's it. You're there. You get to see all these big names. And that's it. It's just like turning on a light. It doesn't matter if you did well. It doesn't matter if you placed at the top. You were happy to be there because you were a part of something. You were a part of something that you were enjoying, and that was it.
Part of something, and then also it's part of something that's bigger than you. It's not just you in your mom's basement or something like that. It's you with everybody that's to be known as everybody. And all that stuff. So that. Yeah, that's. I obviously
and
never
the owners
got into
made it
that,
out
so.
real quick, and the owners of MLG at the time, so Mike Sepso and Sundance DiGiovanni, they made it seem so promising too, and it really was. It really was. They would do opening ceremonies with every tournament, and even if it was just coming out to the crowd, and this is a small crowd of people. You got your amateur players standing right next to T-squared and stuff like that. And, they come out, they'll speak to the small group of people, thank them for being here. And then, tell them, what to be expected for the season, the prize pool, which, when you're a 12-year-old kid, and you hear those numbers, you're like, oh shit, this can, I can do something about this. Of course, I never made any money at a major, very few can say that they did, but, just to win some rounds, get your name out there, get that experience and everything. Even with such a weird year that 2005 was, trying to figure out what game types and stuff worked for Halo 2.
Right.
It was really just incredible. And then the next year just blew it up out of the water. That's when USA partnered. They wanted to get the thing on TV, media everywhere. Interviewers, like the public is wanting to get interested in this. And you just go from such a foundation of grassroots. We talk about grassroots now, with HCS wanting to do the grassroots program. It really was that.
Right.
It really was that. A foundation of people that believed in this company, MLG. And there was a couple little minor leagues here and there running. AGP was still going on. Regions had their locals. I know Maryland had something going on at the time. And it was just us, believing that this can be taken far. And lo and behold, you have esports now.
It's absolutely crazy.
I'm glad we got in when we did,
Yeah.
I'm really glad we got in when we did.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like for me, I was like you're saying 2005 time frame and all that stuff. I'm in the Marine Corps during this time and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm in like middle school. Like
I'm in the Marine Corps. I'm freaking like getting shipped off to Iraq and all that stuff while all the fun stuff's happening and all. So I never got to enjoy that stuff. And then on top of that, for me, I actually didn't get into Halo until Reach. So like I missed the 1, 2s, and 3. Like Reach, Halo 4,
golden era.
Yeah, the golden era that everybody's like, oh man, that's the best Halo there ever was. For me, I mean, I can't play 2 or 1. I just can't. I think it's because of the graphics on there and all that stuff. Like I played on MCC. It's just the graphics. It irritates me. I understand that like 2 is like one of the games that you love. I just can't play it. I can play 3 a little bit and all that stuff, but like Reach and 4 and H5, I can play and have no problems and all that stuff. And personally, I think as far as like personal enjoyment of movement and all that stuff, and just aesthetics wise, I think like H5 is like one of the best Halos out there for that. Because the thing is that with like H1, H2, and H3, you don't really see the skill that they're doing it because they're they're just basically jumping. You know, there's not really clamber, there's not all the other stuff, there's not movement. So you're not seeing the skill, even though the skill is there and all that stuff. It's just
the skill in question that you're mentioning is not as visible,
right?
As
exactly.
it is in Halo 5,
right?
And you're right, and that's why, like, see, a lot of people see, we kind of crap on Halo 5 a little bit, like just as a joke in my stream,
right?
But I've always said, and I said this even before I was streaming, that game had so much potential to be
prime. Yep.
And you had the Magnum. I thought the Magnum was one of the best like base utility weapons, and when I say utility weapon, I mean the gun that you use for your for competition. Your Halo 2 battle rifle, your Halo 1 pistol, your H3 battle rifle. That Magnum was like one of the best main utility weapons for that game, and it worked really, really well. And I think that with different like weapon placement and everything, like I don't think like competitive Halo 5 needed to bring like battle rifles as on the ground weapons or carbines on the ground weapons, kind of like with how they did with H2 and H3, just having a battle rifle on the ground here and there. Another, I just think it was such a well-rounded weapon that actually took like skill and practice to get good with, and being able to shoot while moving. Again, the visible skill that you're mentioning. Yeah, there was a lot of it. I'm not going to deny that, the movement now in 2021 compared to 2016 regionals, when, the first world championship, it's so much bigger. It's so much bigger. The routes are so advanced. You have a lot of people that are breaking down the game, over in the Halo 5 section, just breaking down all the minor details and everything. And it's really advanced, and it's really fluid in a way. And the skill in classic Halo obviously is not going to be as visible, but like you said, it's there. It's kind of like how Counter-Strike works in a way. You're only moving and strafing and shooting. There's no real jumping like in Halo. If you jump, you're not going to be accurate, but people will still call that one of the most skilled based first-person shooters in the world because of all of the small details in between your nades, your timing, and your position. And with classic Halo, timing and position and
was everything. That's absolutely
and
everything.
Holding and angle holding, and yeah, there's a couple of trick jumps here and there, going from Gold 1 to Gold 2 in Halo 3, doing shortcut on Lockout in Halo 2. Halo 1, grenading everything to yourself, nading down power weapons, quick camos, little reload details. Halo 2, you had double shots, BXRs, BXBs, and up close, where having an up close game meant the difference between whether you were going to live that life or die that life, Because Halo 2 got to a point where you needed to be able to turn and melee at the exact same time. Otherwise, you weren't going to win a single melee battle.
Right.
You weren't going to win a single melee battle.
Well,
So, yeah, in a way, they all got their skill. They all got
Yeah.
the skill. But no, you're right. I think Halo 5's is a little bit more
aesthetic.
visibly noticeable.
Yeah.
Visibly noticeable with the movement.
Yeah, it's because it's like I've watched and it's only been somewhat recently that of me watching like more MCC gameplay and all that stuff. And like watching you and a few other people and all that stuff and all. And though there's not a whole lot of like visible movement, but there are like certain ways you move on the map and all, and especially like reference to your teammates that you guys do, that like in H5 you can get away with not having to follow your guys a little bit because you can jump out of the way or whatever, where like you kind of need to be able to work with your team a little bit on certain instances in like H2, H3 and all that stuff. I can't really say anything about H1. I haven't really played it. I've only played
H1 was
so
well, I mean, I didn't unfortunately I couldn't compete in it as well, but a lot of like from what I remember, a lot of like the Halo 1 like old heads would say that Halo 1 you could kind of get away a little bit individual, like an individual could go off and make a play. Halo 2 you could kind of do the same thing, but it was definitely getting more towards team orientation, and then Halo 3 is just full on staying with at least one person,
at least
running a pack of three, maybe a flanker here and there, but making sure it's all well timed. Make sure it's all well timed. It wasn't one person go off and do one thing, because they're gonna get called out, they're gonna get swarmed, and by the time they're off respawn, and you have another teammate dying, and just death cycle. So yeah, no, it definitely went from individual transition into a team.
I think H4 really started making that process of being able to go kind of out on your own. I think H4 really started pushing it, and then like H5 freaking exploited it. You know what I'm saying?
In a way, in a way I understand, just because I know with Halo 4 and sprinting, you could still get your shields back, even if you were like sprinting. So you could just kind of, you could kind of like push towards the base, take a couple shots, but you could sprint, you could sprint away. It was kind of like how Reach worked. You're playing, Sanctuary, Slayer, whatever it may be. You push in a ring, and you start getting lit up. You can sprint out, flank around, and you're still sprinting and you're getting your shields back. No, yeah, there's definitely room for like individuals to try and attempt to make individual plays. And, if they get called out, they're not going to get as punished nearly as bad, because if you walked out of position in Halo 1, you get melted. Halo 2, melted. Halo 3, you might be able to get away, maybe stay one shot, have a teammate.
Depending on the map.
Yeah, another thing is like, baiting out for your teammates. You go out, push, put 2 shots on a guy, back up, you left the guy weak, and then you have 2 of your teammates, jump out, challenge, finish the kill, commit to a push while you're getting your shields back. But again, it's all timing. It's not really so much, I'm gonna go do this, and I'll probably get away with it.
I'm going to go do this, guys. Have fun.
Exactly. And Halo 5, yeah, it definitely, for me, because I'm on my way out. Like even during like Halo 3, I wasn't as dedicated to the game at the time, and I really wasn't as good. And Halo 4, I think I was playing like more Call of Duty at the time. But when Halo 5 came out, like I really gave it a chance, and I really like I played with good players, and we did some local tournaments and everything. But it just took me a while to realize, if you get shots into somebody, you be aggressive. You get one dead, you fly, and I could not grasp that concept at the time.
Right.
And if I did, there might have been like different like play style clashes where you weren't doing it at the same time. We were all blocking everything.
I get that all the time.
You couldn't get a flag out because you got one guy blocking elbow, and then you got one guy blocking cave, and they're spawning back at the base when you go to run a flag, and you're like, what happened, dude? I died. Because
Yeah.
even in the heat of the moment, it's so fast.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to think. You got to think even when it is so fast, because then you just get caught out, really.
Yeah,
So you're like, kill this guy, rushed. Oh God, why is he spawning there? Like, yeah, it's just.
It happens to me all the time. It happens to me all the time with H5. Is because I'm known as like a rush guy, whatever. Like I'll be one shot, and if I see a guy coming up or whatever, like I'm still gonna at least try to get a couple of shots on this guy. Where most other people would just back off and try to regen or something like that, right? I'm just like, screw it. I'm going to get a couple of shots on me on this guy. And I'm hoping because of like some of the people I play with, they're the same kind of style. There's going to be somebody behind me that's going to get that guy. Because most of the time, whenever I do something like that, there's always two guys there. So it's like a 1v1 in a way. So I'll get one guy freaking like one shot before I'm dead. That way, freaking the guy that's right behind me, he's dead, and now he's just having to do a 1v1 and all that stuff.
And you hope that he gets there in time, though.
And all that stuff. So now that's a two for one and all that stuff. But that doesn't always work because, like, especially the last couple of games I've been getting into, these guys want to crouch behind rocks, and I'm like sitting here like, you're on refuge. I think that's the one with the rocks, right? Refuge, I believe it is.
You got me. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, but it's like they're like crouching behind a rock.
Like Sanctuary. That's like the Sanctuary remake, right?
I think so. It's got the ring in the center and the two towers on the side.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Well, you got rocks on either side and all that stuff. And like I was in the game not too long ago, and the guys were just crouching behind the rocks. And just like, okay, we're gonna get them. I'm like, dude, this is not how you run this map. You have to move. Like you can kind of get away with like truth sitting there crouching and all that stuff, but refuge, you need to kind of move around because it's all open spaces and all that stuff. If you don't,
with the exception of being in the ring.
Except for them being in the ring, it's all open spaces.
It's kind of like how Reach worked a little bit with Reach. Sanctuary was easy. You killed a guy on one side, like 95% of the time he was going to spawn on the other side.
Right.
You play a top team, and they know that. You better hope you spawn behind the biggest rock. You better hope you spawn behind the biggest rock, and you just milk your life for as long as possible, because like. Even in 2011 with like Bloom and Sprint and everything, you get a couple kills on that side. Like they're just rushing your hut. You're spawning rocks. They're just doing like the U formation, just coming around for another group of slays, and then they're gonna boom, run the flag or move the bomb or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
Like Reach Sanctuary. I think I remember like Flame Sword talking about an old Halo pro. He was like, Sanctuary is so easy. You literally kill them on one side and they spawn on the other. Kill them on that side, they spawn on the other. Like it was just really easy to manipulate.
I also hate like at least the Slayer version of Refuge and all that stuff. You got 2 shotguns, you got a sword, you got freaking 2 snipers, you got freaking the plasma rifle or something like that. I mean, there's so many power ups on that map. It doesn't need to be there.
I know there was a talk recently about whether people really want Slayer to still be in Halo. And it's kind of crazy to think
Why
about.
would it never be in Halo?
I don't know, because I want to say it was probably like top pros talking about it. It's because objective games take a whole different kind of teamwork. Where if you're playing, like say you're a professional team and you're playing against like a top 24, top 32 team, they can take that Slayer off of you because of how scrappy and ragtag it can be. Because in the heat of the moment, it comes down to a power weapon, a couple of overshields or something like that. But sometimes it can get out of hand and get chaotic, and you can play that scrappy style and take that. Whereas, say you're playing, if you're playing a guy, if you're playing a team let's see, like, we'll use your example. We'll use the Halo 5 Sanctuary. You can play that scrappy and take that Slayer. Then you try and beat that team in flag. You try and beat that team in bomb, or whatever, like oddball or something, where it takes setups and timing and everything. It's not just you go out, you get 2 kills, you play like Halo 3 amplified Team Slayer. That's probably one of the best examples ever. You have chaotic spawns, battle rifle, no power weapons. You're playing a top team, you get a couple spawns behind them, you're up a couple kills, you just keep trading the whole time, you're good to go. Then you play them on pit flag and they 3-0 you in 5 minutes.
Right.
Because
their movement's better.
Because they're timing their pushes properly, timing their pushes off of power weapons, off power ups. When your back is against when your back is against the wall, you're not fighting out of your base together, and they will just capitalize on that. They'll cap 3 flags right away. But you beat them in that Slayer, 50-45. That's why I think I saw it on Twitter. Like a while ago. Like that's why like people feel if you took out Slayer, it could like change how competitive Halo is, and you might not take those random games off top teams.
Yeah, but you also got to think about like
I'm against it.
Do you want to make Halo that competitive? Do you want to make Halo that competitive?
It's really not. Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like because
I understand.
I'm a Slayer guy.
I love Slayer. I think it's exciting.
Right. If you take away my Slayer, now the only thing I'm going to be able to play is Team Arena.
Yeah.
That's going to make me so aggro on so many different levels and all that stuff that, like, I will either, one, get really freaking good at the game and I will not want to mess with anybody that are lower ranked than me, or two, it's going to make me want to quit the game because like I like playing Team Arena. I think Team Arena is like the if you want to get good at the game and all that stuff and understand rotations, understand freaking your shot movement and all that stuff, you want to play Team Arena because you have so many factors you got to factor in and all. But I don't want to play that all the time. Sometimes I just want to shoot people.
No, yeah, I agree.
And
I'm not saying take Slayer completely out of the game. This was just to take it out of competitive rotation, which I personally am against because I love Slayer. I think Slayer is has been one of the staple highlights of a competitive Halo 5 series.
And free for all.
FFA was fun too, and I really hope with Infinite, like FFA can be like brought back in good standing. Because for me personally, I don't think that FFA has had good standing since probably like Halo 3, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Halo 1
I can
FFA,
see that.
Halo 2 FFA, Halo 3 FFA, all worked in a way. And like, I think I was watching the most recent like Halo 5 tournament. I was tuning into a couple streams, like
the Kellogg's one, right? The free for all Kellogg's.
Yeah, I lurked one of the streams, and the caster or the player was like just complaining because it was just you'd put shots into somebody, that person's going to get third partied almost immediately because of how advanced the movement is and how much people are moving around, and they're just so quick to jump on a one shot. Whereas with the basic movement with Halo 2 and Halo 3, I just feel like
you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that.
Not really. Like. And FFA was luck based in a way. There was skill and there was also luck. It still is, and I feel like it always will be. Just being at the right place at the right time. Just trying to make sure you're there to clean up those 2 one-shots that are getting into a melee battle. But yeah, with Halo 5, I just feel like people just didn't enjoy it as much. So I really hope with Infinite, it's good again.
Well, I mean that is the thing with freaking. H5 FFA is that it because of the advanced movement and all that stuff, like it does bring in the third parties, the fourth parties, the fifth parties, all that stuff. It brings it all in, and it doesn't. It's not enjoyable. Now, I played some FFA for a while or whatever because I was trying to get better at my one-on-one situations and all that stuff.
Mhm.
All right, I played SWAT so I could remember the spawns. Okay, know where people are
Mhm.
spawning at, get a little bit better at my aiming. I played FFA so I could get better at my 1v1s and movement and close quarter movement and stuff like that. And then I
And you're
just,
fast thinking.
yes, and all that
FFA
stuff.
was fast.
Right. And then freaking, because like once you know the spawns of everybody pretty much and all that stuff and all, and you play FFA, all right, this guy just died over there. That guy died over there. I know this guy's going to spawn right behind me.
Mhm.
And bam, you spin around after you got done with that one fight, and you're up by 5 freaking before you know it, and all that
Yep.
stuff. And then I just go to my Slayer, and for me, I think you would agree that I mostly, yeah, I play ranked Slayer, but I mostly play it to have fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, try to be better at the game, try to win as many games as possible and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to fret like I would fret over a freaking Team Arena game if I lose the
Yeah,
game.
you have to have that balance of your I don't really care playlists and then your ones that you generally, want to win at all times. Halo 2 Hardcore is kind of like that for me. For the most part, I just play Halo to have fun nowadays.
Right.
Because it works well with how I stream. And I don't really play Halo off stream that much anymore. It's a very rare occasion. But when Halo 2 Hardcore like came back and people were like, Kelly, it'd be really cool like to see you sweat like in Halo like for a match or two. And I'm like, all right, cool. And yeah, like I mean,
That requires taking off all the alerts
don't.
and stuff. I don't know. That hurts your stream a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Like seeing me not respond to an alert. Oh God. So it was like I remember when Kmadd responded to 15 follows in a row, dude. Like I was just like, oh no, I changed, bro. But yeah, no, I mean, it would be that playlist for me because I could just like lock in, kind of do what I remember. And yeah, I mean, even games like Halo 2 have evolved. You have your players that are playing on Project Cartographer and everything, and people think Halo 2 can't be pushed. Like those players have really pushed how good you can be in that game. For a game as simple as Halo 2, even Halo 1, the games are still evolving. And I really hope with Infinite, that sense of constantly pushing the game. I just really hope I just don't want to get like bored of the game. I really
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, one thing I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think Infinite's going to come out this year at all. For one,
Really?
I
You
don't. I
think
don't. I don't think it will. I don't think it will. I mean, it's been 6 years. Why not go ahead and go 7? Because I mean, the whole purpose of it last year was because of new console, new Halo. That's been the thing.
Halo's gonna be 20 years old come this fall.
All that stuff.
That's
So
wild.
that didn't work out. They already spent all that marketing budget that they did.
On Butterfingers and
They got directors
Noah
quitting.
Burgers.
They got directors
True,
quitting.
True.
All that other
Yeah.
stuff.
I think
I
it's
don't know.
possible. I think
It's
for them to
possible.
get it
I
out.
just don't expect it. I'll be happily surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I really do hope it comes out this year because I can feel a sense that even your most dedicated Halo content creators, they want that new experience. They really want.
And if they don't get it, they're going to probably end up jumping ship.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
going
there are a
to
lot of people
something
that
else.
I feel will stick with Halo because it's their niche.
Right.
Niche. And that's another thing with streaming is finding that niche. Really figuring out where you excel. And you have a lot of Halo YouTubers, and they're all very talented content creators. And if they were to move games, that might hurt them, and they might think about that. Now, for me personally, I don't care what I play. I love variety. I love variety, and
Same.
I as much as I wouldn't want to, I just want to do what's fun. I want to do what's fun for me. I want to do what's fun for my stream, and even if it takes my audience a while to get used to what I'm doing, because I was playing, you know, I play PlayStation 1 games every now and then. You know, any new game that I know when Resident Evil 8 comes out, you know, I'm gonna be playing that, and you know, I might not get as many viewers then, and I don't really care, you know, as long as you're having fun with it. If you're jumping over to these other games, you know, that's all that matters.
The biggest thing that I think for that is, to go along with that, is that if you are having fun and and your stream sees that you're having a good time, they're going to stay in there. They're going to interact and all that stuff and all.
Mhm.
So there's been many a times where, you know, I'm just like, F this shit, you know, all that stuff, and just not want to play that game anymore and all that stuff and all. And people are like, man, why do you got such bad attitude and all? And I'm just like, no, I just don't want to play this game right now and all.
Yeah, there are
And
plenty of
and
people
then
that
and
feel
then
forced to play the games that they.
Yep.
You know.
And then I go to switch over. Let's say it's the exact same stream I was just frustrated on. I go to switch over to a different game. I'm now enjoying myself. That person is no longer there because what they really wanted to watch was this kind of stream. They wanted to watch me get frustrated and all that stuff. And all they wanted to see the reactions. And now that I'm having a good time, the mood's changed and all that stuff. So that's a whole nother
everyone has their interests in what they want to watch as a content creator. I personally navigate towards, obviously, you know, I gotta give a shout out to all my creative homies, but people who genuinely enjoy their games. Although, I mean, I like rage content. I do like watching people.
I follow Action Man, and the only reason why I follow Action Man,
you can't not watch
is for his rage moments, man. That's the only thing I tune in for him. You know, I love the man and all that stuff.
It works so well with him, you know. And that might be my only exception because of how he does it.
Mm-hmm.
How he does it, and I get plenty pissed off at video games. I've been playing a lot of like really frustrating games lately, and you know, if I get the house to myself, dude, I'm screaming bloody murder at some of these games, and because I at the end of the day, I am that kind of person. I do get mad at video games. I just can't. Like, I might not be able to. I'll get run out of my house if I scream at video games, like in this household.
That's the reason why I like living alone.
If I get the house to myself, man, all that pent up rage, dude. But no, that works. And again, to go off what we were talking about earlier with the whole niche environment, I really hope that certain Halo content creators aren't afraid to expand.
Yeah,
you know, if they have to, because there's always a sense of fear. If you're a numbers kind of person, there's always a sense of fear that, are these numbers going to are they going to come with me if I try and play some of these new games? And as hard as it is, and I know like some people who are full time, you think about that because you don't want to lose what allowed you to be full time in the first place.
Right.
But you can't be afraid at the same time, because you don't know what you're gonna like. You know, if you give it a try, you could fall in love with the game. And your audience will see that, and you'll see that they might not, you know. So you're not playing Halo. That's okay. You could go back to Halo. Halo's not going anywhere. You know, it's always going to be there. MCC's, you know, 10 years old. You know, you just put in the disc, pop it on your PC, you're back. You can play it, and then all 100 of your viewers come back. Oh, yeah,
you're playing. You're playing this now. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
But
you will find that community. Say you get hosted or something for, like, you know, I go and play a game that gets speed ran or something, and you know, some speedrunners come over like, oh, so you're playing this game now? How do you like it? It's like, oh yeah, I really do. I really like it. It's really fun. I'm like, oh yeah, man, cool. You know, if you want any tips and tricks and stuff like that, you know, they'll stick around because they like watching people play their game. Like, hey, good to see you playing my game. This is really cool. And then next thing you know, you have another community of people who are enjoying their game.
Well, it's like, for me, as far as my content creation and all that stuff, I started with PUBG. I did a lot of PUBG games. I got somewhat of a following of that. Then I did a lot of Battlefield 1, and I played a lot of that and all that stuff. And I got a little bit of following from that. Played a little bit of COD. Then I finally came into Halo. Now, of course, I've been playing a bunch of other games along with it. Like I play Rocket League and a bunch of other little things and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But fortunately, I've been lucky enough to have people that have followed me in every single one of those realms. Another prime example of like changing things up, right? Me doing this. You know what I'm saying? I hit you up, and I hit you and a few other people up, probably almost a year ago, about doing podcasts and all that stuff. And all you guys were like, "Yeah, whatever. Well, yeah, I'll join you in it and all that stuff." And I was grateful then and all. And look, now I'm like 9 months, almost a year later. Hey, I'm actually going to do these podcasts and all that stuff because I want to do something that makes me feel happy. Hopefully, gets freaking people like yourself out there and all that stuff. And maybe see another side or whatever, because that's the one thing that I noticed through watching other Halo content creation and stuff like that. Like, yeah, they're talking to their chat, like you talk to your chat all the time, but like you're not able to really sit there and have a full-fledged discussion because you're also having to pay attention to the game and all that stuff. And now with doing this,
it depends on how much you care about the game. Like if people start getting me going about PlayStation games or something,
I've seen you just hang out freaking in the lobby for like a minute, 2 minutes, almost getting ready to be timed out because you haven't moved. And we're talking about some random stuff.
I got people in my lobby like, "Are you gonna start the game?" I was like, "But this PlayStation game, dude, let me tell you about it."
But I'm just saying, and I was honestly afraid to even start doing like this podcasting stuff.
Because did you feel like people?
I felt like people would leave.
Were you worried about like people not showing up? Is that the thing?
Yeah, I really did. I worried about I worried about people not showing up. I worried about people not following and all that stuff, and I'm just like sitting here like, screw it all. I'm going to do something that makes me happy, and I think it's going to be great for other people within the community and all that stuff. Screw it, I'm going to do this. And you know what?
That's one of the things we tell ourselves is like, just do it. But it's a lot easier said than done.
It is.
You mentioned it took you about a year to even get all this,
Well, the thing is I had all this stuff set up. Like the whole webcam, all that stuff. I've had all this stuff set up for 9 months already, okay? Because I paid a guy to do some things and all that stuff because I'm not a designer or anything like that, and I'm lazy. I've already mentioned that earlier. So paid a guy to set all this stuff up, and the only thing I had to do was click and play. I set everything freaking over and all, and I just sat on it. And now I'm like, screw it, let me do it, and let me hopefully get some people seen out there that maybe not other people would know through my following and all that stuff. And maybe through your following, maybe they'll see a different side of you, and they'll be like, "Oh man, I didn't even know this about this guy," and all. And it just doesn't really happen a whole lot.
All different kinds of experimentation in content creation can make you afraid to try new things because you really don't know. Like I was saying, it's like switching games. Yeah, you really just, people might encourage you and be like, "Oh yeah, do it," but do they really mean like try it?
Right.
Try it. And if anybody is ever like, "Yo, I want to try this," I just say go for it, man. What can you can you lose?
And if you don't try it, you don't know if you like it or not, too.
Yeah, that's like how I kind of figured out how I wanted to stream. Yeah.
Don't rely, like we've already said, don't rely on the views. Don't rely on donations or anything like that. Rely on are you comfortable doing this? Are you comfortable?
Drive yourself silly worrying about the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You really can't. You can't let them dictate your attitude because you might be falling flat because you're not in it fully. Because maybe you wanted to start the podcast and you were expecting to get 10 to 15 to 20 people watching you, and you end up with like 5 to 7. That discouragement is going to take away a mental effort that you need to be putting towards this to make it
Yep.
better.
I
So
agree.
don't take it, don't take that as a sense of I didn't reach my goal. Take it as a sense of, okay, I got to this point. I've
Mhm.
done that. And now, don't take it as I didn't do this. Take it as I did do this, but maybe I can do this as well.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and that's what you need to push your mentality and push your mindset and make you keep going, keep expanding, and keep trying. That's the big thing, is just keep trying, because there's just so there's just so much
It's
negativity
not
that
a
can
one.
happen within
It's not a
yourself.
one size fit all too. You got to remember
Exactly.
that too. It's not a one
Exactly.
size fit all.
People can be overnight sensations. It could take someone like Ninja 8 plus years before, he got to this standing he is. And, now that he's mellowed out again, but it still took him so long. It's not a race. It's
Nope.
not a competition. I remember I posted a clip like on Twitter a while back saying streaming, it can be, but I don't think it should be treated as a contest. At the end of the day, you want to be someone likable. You want to be someone that people come and watch. But I don't want to compete with others. I don't want to
You want to make your own thing,
I don't want to
and
be
people
better
will
than you.
be there.
I don't want to be better than you. I don't want to be better than Pete. I
Be
don't
my
want to be
own
better
person.
than I don't want to be better than Joe. I want to congratulate them on all the good shit that they're doing and use it as inspiration for me to be better, and we can both lift ourselves
Grow
up,
together. Yep. Or
Exactly.
or grow in our own way.
Exactly. And it
and all
took
that
me a
stuff.
while. It took, because you see people doing well and you're like, ah, man, like that could be me, it takes a while to get out of that mindset.
Yep.
Jealousy, don't get jealous. Jealousy keeps
Though
you.
though jealousy will always be there a little bit, but
Of course.
there's that's the one thing. Like,
We're
you'll never
humans.
get rid
It's
of your
impossible.
jealousy.
Yeah, it's
But
impossible.
but if you control it and you're just like, it's just not that important, blah blah blah, and all that stuff, then that's where you're going to really find yourself.
You can use it to light a good fire underneath you.
Mhm.
Not a spiteful, just diminishing, dismissive attitude, but rather I can do this too.
Yep.
That's really cool. I'm gonna try that. And that takes me back to the foundations of watching streamers, wanting to do what they do, seeing someone do something cool, taking it, making it my own thing.
Yep.
Yeah. That is the mindset. I don't care, that you're on top of the mountain. I don't care if you have thousands and thousands of subs. Like, that's great. That's great, and I'm happy for you. But I gotta do my thing, because I feel like I'm gonna get there one day, and I just gotta stay focused, nose to the grindstone, and use that as motivation. Don't use it as a way of saying, oh, that should be me. That's not really the attitude to have. And I just feel I really hope, like, as streaming continues to grow, more people can have that mindset, because it's just I just feel like it's such a toxic attitude to have. It's such a you're spending so much negative energy when you could put it towards something else.
Now, of course, you can still have like the little personal thing of like, oh man, like, well, I had a post I did a while back ago and all that stuff and all, and I was like, I'm thinking about quitting streaming completely and all that stuff, because I'm just not getting the growth that I want. Has nothing to do with jealousy, has nothing to do with that. It's just what my level of expectations that I put for myself and all that stuff. Nothing against anybody else. It's just what the goals that I put for myself. It was like, what, maybe I just need to step back, think for myself, reevaluate myself and all that stuff, and what I go, like let me figure out this, let me go and do that and all that stuff, and that because I stepped back and all that stuff, I finally got off my ass, started doing these podcasts and all that stuff and I'm enjoying life better than anything else. You know, I
That's
still play my video games. I still
Mhm.
every so often do freaking video game streams, but my main focus is these podcasts and getting people like you and other people on for us to have a normal conversation about random shit, you know?
Exactly. No, self-reflection, taking a step back. At the end of the day, it's your own personal journey. And if it doesn't, like I said, if it doesn't, like you were saying, if it's not involving anybody else in a negative way, of course, take that step back, reflect, and think about, all right, am I achieving your goals? Make a list. This was another new thing that I learned. Just make a list of like maybe some short-term goals, some long-term goals, and if it gets to that day, and maybe you did some of them, but you didn't do others, just kind of take a step back,
You at
reflect, and be
least
like, okay,
accomplished
maybe I can
something.
change that. Yeah, you accomplished those things that you did, and that's great. That's great. And now you got these another couple of things that maybe you came up short on, and that's okay. Just reflect on that. Be like, okay, well, maybe I give myself a little bit more time, or do I want to maybe do something else, or take a week off? There's nothing wrong with taking time off from this.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me the longest time to realize that if you take a step back and self-reflect, you come back stronger than ever.
But at the
'Cause
same
when
time,
you
you got to remember though too, if you don't treat this like a job, you're really not going to go everywhere. And
there
all
is a
stuff.
sense of responsibility.
You like take your time away that you need to mentally recoup whatever and all that stuff and all, but you still gotta like treat some certain things like as a job. Like now you've got a TikTok, you've got other stuff. Whatever happened to your freaking Twitter? I don't know.
I'm still working on it.
But freaking like you've got your fingers in other little things and all that stuff and like that's what like a job does, is that
Yes.
they put their fingers out everywhere and all that stuff, because guess what, you're never going to get discovered on Twitch alone. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
no,
saying?
absolutely.
Not these days. There's way too
It
many
looked
people
oh
streaming.
no. And there's so many avenues that can help with that. But yeah, like I was saying, it took me a while to realize that it's okay to take, yes, treat it like a responsibility to yourself. Like a responsibility to yourself, be on time, um, be punctual, balance yourself out, do things on other platforms, and merge them together. That's just like bread and butter of being a content creator now, is post a tweet, post a TikTok, take a selfie on Instagram, say in your live, make a story, bring it all together. People are going to follow you from this, people are going to follow you from this, bring it all together. But it might take that self-reflection and that time to really just reflect on what you've done and what you need to work on, to say, oh, maybe I do need to spend more time on that, maybe I do need to spend more time on this. And I've seen plenty of streamers, like Halo content creators. I know Eli X took a little bit of a break a little while ago. Shenny, myself, last summer. I didn't mean to take as long of a break as I did, but I'm kind of glad that I did, because prior to that, I was just streaming like almost every day. Almost every day. Like, I think at most, unless I was on a vacation or something, I would take like 2 days off. And that was crazy for me. And I realized like how kind of burnt out I was getting.
Burnout happens all the
I
time.
was neglecting health. I was neglecting, just like family. And I was at like one of the highest like sub counts. Everything was doing great. I just had my birthday and everything. And then I go and see Ash for a month. And it was really good to be able to just kind of relax for once. I really enjoyed the time with her, and I really enjoyed the time away. And yes, I miss my community. I always miss my community, and I always miss doing what I do because I love this shit.
Sometimes it's
But
good to get away.
It was exactly. It was nice to finally have a little bit of a break, and I came back, and I had a different mindset about how I wanted to go about things. I started pumping out like an effect a day. I started, and you know, you get back on a good track, and yeah, you might get a little derailed again. You might.
We're human. That's going to happen.
Yeah, we're only human.
Right?
You know, I might oversleep. You know, another, you know, a couple days going up, and yeah, like we're only human. But yeah, self-reflection is so important in this business. Just figuring out you've done so much well, and you've done, you know, you might have fallen flat on a couple of other goals. Take some time to think about, you know, what you can do differently, what you can do better. Be it, you know, if you're in like some kind of video game limbo, and you know, I know us as Halo content creators, we're kind of in a bit of a limbo at the moment, waiting on Infinite.
Been in
You know,
limbo for 5 freaking years.
Yeah,
But
self-reflection is probably one of the biggest keys. And I take a page out of Nade God, probably one of the most self-reflective streamers that I've gotten the pleasure of knowing over the past year. And you know, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the business compared to somebody else. If they, you know, if they pass you in metrics, if you know, if you see that they're doing so much better for themselves than they were just a year ago, you know they're doing something right, and you use that as inspiration, and you use that as a way of reflecting on yourself, making your own self-reflection, and being like, oh, you know, if he can do it, you know, I can too. And you should never be afraid to ask for help. That's another thing too.
Yep.
That's another thing too. There are plenty of people that have been in this business 8 to 10 years. They are still asking questions of people that have done this for 1 to 2 years, 3 years, because they might do things a little bit better. With how evolved streaming has gotten, there's so many tips and tricks and tutorials out there on YouTube that so many of these new streamers are probably watching and dialing to the T before they even go live for the first time.
Yeah.
And you know, they've already been posting on Instagram, they've already been posting on Twitter, and you know, maybe their first stream they got like 5 to 10 viewers because they've been networking so well with their other content sources. And you know, people are getting partnered in like 1 to like half a year.
Right.
Because they just do it so well. And you can't be afraid to learn from those people.
Nope. No, not at all. Not at all.
You really can't.
I agree.
You can teach them what you know.
We're starting to beat a dead horse here. Let's change subjects a little bit, okay?
All right.
We're not doing that.
I told you I'd get so into this.
Hey, I knew it too, and then like that's the reason why I wanted to have you on, because you know I knew there would be so much for us to talk about.
Going, dude.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, you've been doing this for like I think like a year and a half longer than I have. You've definitely got more experience on OBS and all that stuff than what I do. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, us being able to bounce off each other very easily, I knew that would be great.
Oh, it's great.
You know, ooh, we're not getting into that one.
Ooh, what was it?
No, I'm not doing it because we're going to end up talking about it.
Maybe we'll need a part 2.
Yeah, maybe. All right. What is the greatest moment that doesn't have to have anything to do with gaming at all? The greatest moment in your life so far?
Oh, the greatest moment in my life so far. Ooh, it's
deep.
That is deep. That's tough because there's been so.
I'll tell you mine if it helps
you
get going.
Go ahead while I think.
All right, my greatest moment is when my son was born.
That's
when my son was born. I was able to be there. All right, here's a little story with that too. Okay, so I'm in the Marine Corps. I'm in the Marine Corps. My old lady, she's getting ready to get admin set for being crazy because she was fucking crazy. But she's getting ready to have my son Cyrus. And yes, he's named after Cyrus the Virus off of Con Air. But you know, having a baby, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I drive her to the Lejeune Hospital, get her there. They're like, she's not dilated enough. And I was like, you understand this is an hour and a half drive back home one way. By the time I get back home, I'm going to have to turn around and come right back, and she'll be dilated enough. Can we at least
stay,
have a bed somewhere?
yeah.
They're like, no, we can't do that, blah, 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 and all that stuff, okay? So I was like, all right, fine, whatever. So I drive my happy ass all the way back and all that stuff. And now, I'm probably half hour, 45 minutes after us being home, and, no sleep, all that stuff. She's like, oh, baby, we need to go, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right. Got there, child, whatever. I've got my master sergeant hitting me up and all. Where the fuck you at? Well, no, my staff sergeant. Where are you at? You're missing formation, blah, blah. My wife is having my child right now. Thank you very much. I'm not fucking going anywhere. Suck my ass. Okay? And there was like, well, if you don't show up, you're gonna be considered UA and all that stuff, which is unexcused absence and all that stuff. You can get NJP and all that stuff for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, go ahead, write me up.
It was a circumstance where you didn't care.
I didn't care. My son was born, it was like 7:30, 8:30 in the morning, something like that, and all that stuff. Freaking beautiful kid and all that stuff. And I was the happiest in the world and all. And I ended up, a different staff sergeant ended up contacting me and was like, hey, are you really at the hospital? I was like, yeah, I'm really at the freaking hospital. You can come and see my brand new son. He was just born like half an hour ago and all that stuff. And the guy was like, okay, well, obviously you can't leave right now, but I need you to be over here at 2 o'clock so we can do some paperwork for you to go on leave and all that stuff. And so I was able to go there. The staff sergeant that was giving me a hard time didn't say a word to me. I freaking flicked him off, of course, when I seen him and all that stuff. I pick up my freaking papers and I go back to the freaking hospital and I spend the next 2-3 days or whatever taking care of my son. And, it's a whole nother freaking thing to go about it. Of course, now I don't really see my son that much anymore. My mistake.
What year was this? How long has this been?
2003.
Oh wow! So he's wow.
He's turning 18 this year. He's turning 18
that's
this
crazy.
year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's turning 18 this year.
Oh boy.
No more child support here soon. Not that I don't love my son, but it's going to be nice not having to pay child support. So. Of course, my son, I already told my son freaking, like when he turns 18 and all that stuff, like if he can't stay there with his mom and all that stuff, that he can live with me, but he's got 6 months to get a job and find his own place. Because I'm kind of a stickler on freaking having jobs and stuff. So.
Oh, yeah, just being a responsible dad. So,
yeah.
I think, see, there's so many good.
Now if your old ladies might be lurking and might see this stream later on. Oh
yeah, no, and I've already thought about that. There's so many good moments that just happened in like that particular moment of my life, but really like a moment that I can think of as just everything was good about it. Everything was good, and I still like think about it to this day was last year on my birthday.
Last year on your birthday.
Because she got the mods together. She got, the moderator team of the madness to make a video. And I still like get choked up like thinking about like her opening message. And like pretty much any time that we've spent together, I still remember like even TwitchCon like a couple years ago, like we might have gotten, had some
little jacked up,
had some medicinal. We went and saw Blink 182, and I'm just sitting there. And
great band.
I'm just sitting there and I'm reflecting. I'm like, I got my girl right here. Like, this is great. this is just fantastic. Like even a moment like that could be one of the greatest moments of my life. But yeah, last year I was just a ball of emotion. Like I could not stop crying with how beautiful it was. It was just so many people that I've known for years just saying so many good things. Started with her, people from the Halo community, CDN the third, and Pete was in the video, and like it was just so uplifting just to know, like, because I never think of myself as just like a role model kind of person, but so many of these people just look up to what I've done and what we got going on, and I never think of it as just me, you know, because we as a community have done this together, and I wouldn't be where I am without them. And just that sense of reflection with what we had done, and just having everyone just be so genuinely nice, it just, all the emotions just poured out, and I was just so incredibly happy. And I still think about it to this day. Definitely the best birthday I've ever had, and if not like one of the best days of my life, it's definitely like top 3.
That's
As you
awesome.
said.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely awesome.
And it's something so small, but at the same time it's so big. You know, it's just me sitting here watching a video that she went out of her way to put together, and she's the best. I don't know how she gives the gifts that she does. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people are such good gift givers, but it was just sitting there and just reflecting and watching it, and everything about it was just amazing. And it was a time for me to reflect about what I've done. I had all these amazing people that I was looking at that were saying the nicest stuff to me. And did I think I deserved it? Like, you know, always think like there's, you know, I'm just a person who likes to have fun on the internet. And the fact that it had touched so many lives and stuff like that just really, it was amazing. That's all I think. Yeah, that's all I could think about. It was just amazing.
Yeah, I completely. All right, so when's the marriage and y'all moving in together? You know, like, I mean,
Well,
come
no,
on, man.
She's got to finish.
Been
up.
only talking about it for a while now.
No, I know. Well, the thing, we've been good. We've been good about, you know, getting everything ready. We've been packing and everything. So, yeah, she's just got to finish up her hours, and we'll be on our way.
That's awesome.
But it's something I think about a lot. That's another thing too. Is just I'm in a constant state now of just a happy mental, knowing that I have that to look forward to. It really can make your day. Just thinking about something as simple as that. Just thinking about like what's to come. Just thinking about it gets you excited, and it gets you happy, and you know that's really, as small as it is, it's such a big thing for me. So.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, because it's like you know, I finally got me a girlfriend now, and I was single for like 4+ years and all that stuff.
Nice.
And so now I've got me a girlfriend now, and it's like on the like looking forward to the weekends and spending time with her and all that stuff. Like it's you know, it has me something to look forward to, and in a way, it like makes me want to go to work. Makes me want to freaking you know, get on streams and do different little things and all that stuff, because you know, I know at the end of the week I'm going to be able to hang out with her, pick on her, watch video games and movies and all that stuff, and then pick on her some more.
Yeah, it's like I do say it to her a lot on occasion, and who knows, she might watch this, but before, like, knowing that she's in my corner, I don't think she'll ever like realize how important that is to me.
Yeah,
like,
always great having somebody in your corner.
She'll never understand just how thankful I am for it, that she is there, and just she needs to know that, like, when I think about the future with her in it, it's just you see me smiling now. You're
about ready to freaking cry, boy. What you talking about?
No, I'm constant, just positive radiation, dude. And I'm just ready to roll. You know, I'm just ready to do whatever. Stream, you know, be my best self. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want to do.
I mean,
be our best selves.
That's what women do for you, though, is that they really do bring out the best of you and all that stuff and all, especially when you have a supportive woman and everything and all. It's like when, like, I talked about how, like, I was single for like 4+ years and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was still trying to get into dating I was still dated and all that stuff. But like with people that my age, because I'm almost 40, okay? My age range, and I say, hey, yeah, I stream video games and stuff like that. They're like, what are you, 13? I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm 38, but
But you're enjoying it.
I'm enjoying my life, and I'd love for you to be a part of it and all that stuff. And this girl, like when I told her, it was like, hey, I stream video games, blah blah, blah, and you know, I get drunk on stream sometimes, a lot actually, and blah blah blah, and all. And she's like, cool, I play video games too. I was like, yeah, but how much video games do you really play? And she's not like your old lady. She sucks at video games, okay? Your old lady freaking is a boss hog, freaking when it comes to Road Company, okay?
She fries in that game, dude. She's so good.
I lurk in her streams. I don't really say a whole lot, but I lurk in her streams every so often. I was actually looking at her stream today and all that stuff, and like boss hog. But but though, like you know, like those little puzzle games, like puzzle-like games where it's like, I guess one of the newest ones would be like It Takes Two.
Ash and I are actually playing that right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, something like that, she would be able to kick my ass in. Now, like she can figure that kind of stuff out or whatever. It's when it comes to anything to do with shooters or adventure like that.
Your girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, yeah, my girl, anytime it comes to deal with any kind of shooters or whatever, she's kind of sucks at it and all that stuff. Like first night we hung out or whatever, she was like, oh, you play video games, all right, cool. What was it? Watch Dogs 2. Okay. Watch Dogs 2. Freaking she couldn't shoot down like the little sentinels or whatever, the little robots.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know, she couldn't shoot them down to save her life. She couldn't. And I'm like 3 sheets to the wind and all that stuff. And I'm just like, give me the controller. 5 seconds later, they're all dead. And she's mad at me. Well, then the next day we end up playing like some other little like kid game. It was not Roblox, but it was like something along those lines. Legos. We were playing Lego, Incredibles, Lego Incredibles, or something like that. We were playing that.
One of the Lego like Star Wars / Lord of the Rings / Harry Potter.
Yeah, all that stuff, right?
I got you.
It was the Incredibles one, and I couldn't figure out this one level, or I couldn't find this one last task that I needed to try to do. And she's like, "Oh, it's over here. Why are you such a dumbass?" I was like, "Why couldn't you shoot down a sentinel? Like, come on." Come on, tit for tat. So that's our relationship. We always freaking like tit for tat each other. But but having that support and all that stuff,
you get to have fun with someone playing video games, and like you love video games and they love video games, and like that's so rare, especially considering Ash does the exact same thing I do, so we like understand each other on that level already. Like she understands the stream grind, I understand the stream grind. And now with Road Company, like she's doing really well. You can have like I'm in her corner, like wishing her like the best, hoping she keeps pushing herself to be the best streamer she can be the best person she can be. And she does that for me. She always asks questions about what any new stuff I want to do. Try this, try that. It's very important. It's really good stuff to talk about. And having that person that you can talk to about that sort of thing a lot of people take that for granted.
Yeah. And it's like, when I talked to my lady about, starting to do these podcasts and stuff like that, and like almost, I probably already got a text already, even though she knew my podcast was going. She's probably, texting me and like, hey, how'd the podcast go? Did the guy enjoy his time, that kind of deal and all that stuff. Just having that extra support.
Like, how'd your stream go? How did this go? How did that go?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ash has her like interviews and stuff like that with with college and stuff. And I'm just like, yo, how did that go? Like, how did how's your notes going? Like, you know, that sort of thing. Just having someone just asking, you know.
Yeah. They might not have full interest, but at least you're asking. You know,
I wouldn't know.
And you're
if
listening.
If she got all psychological on me, I wouldn't know what she was talking about.
Right.
But I will listen. I will listen. I will nod my head, and I will be interested. And you know, I might learn a thing or two. So that's really cool.
Right. All right. Well, this is the end of the podcast, guys. We've got Stick freaking. If he's my friend in the chat, I don't know.
Ask Kmaddify. Sure, I'll be friends with anybody. Just
But-
don't give me a reason not to be.
That's the end of the stream, guys. By the way, freaking, of course, as you didn't notice already, Kmadd, he does stream as well. That's a link to his stream, everything. Normal hours you play?
Normal hours. I try to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Well, with the exception of today, because I was doing this, and I had my dentist appointment. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, during the pretty much early afternoon, I try to get started during the middle of the afternoon. I'm still trying to finalize, like, because I like night streams and I like day streams too, but I really like to get started like during the middle of the afternoon, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Eastern time. 3 o'clock probably best bet. And yeah, shooters, lots of creative content. If you guys have any OBS questions, anything like that. Yeah, I do. I play video games, but nobody's interested in the gameplay. They just want to know about the tech and everything.
Right.
Just innovation, creation. That's my thing. That's my thing.
Awesome, man.
Happy to have more people come check it out.
Hey, we actually did not go over everything because we got into our little tirades today, and that was actually amazing. Thank you for coming, man. Thank you. I hope we can do this again.
Shoot the shit, man. Absolutely. Thank you for having me, guys.
All right, man. Hey, thank you. We're going to do our outro.